Picture this. You're scrolling through social media, mindlessly watching videos of cute kittens. Emergency kitten videos are the best, right? While time slips away, you know there's more you could be doing. Something meaningful. Something that brings you closer to your true potential. That was me, stuck in a cycle of distractions and unhealthy habit. But just like an emergency kitten video can jolt you out of a bad mood, I had a wake-up call that snapped me out of my downward spiral. My journey wasn't easy, but I went from struggling with addiction to building discipline and setting ambitious goals. And if I can do it, so can you. Let's dive into how you can start transforming your life today. Let me tell you a story about a time when I was anything but disciplined. My morning started with a cigarette instead of a healthy breakfast, and my nights ended with one too many drinks. Felt like my life was spiraling, filled with habits that didn't serve me. I remember the anxiety creeping in, overwhelming sense that I was wasting my existence. Something clicked. I realized that if I didn't make a change, I'd be stuck in this cycle forever, never knowing my true potential. That's when I knew I needed to focus on personal development and start my journey towards self-improvement. This epiphany wasn't just a light bulb moment. It was a full-on existential crisis. I started diving deep into philosophy, Nietzsche and Schopenhauer, you name it. Their teachings about embracing suffering and finding meaning struck a chord with me. I wasn't just reading to pass time. I was seeking answers to my own struggles with anxiety and depression. These philosophies made me realize that I needed to optimize my existence and take control of my narrative. I wanted to be a better person, not just for myself, for the people around me. Taking that first step toward change wasn't easy. It required an honest look in the mirror and admitting that I wasn't living up to my potential. I knew I needed to do more than just quit smoking. I needed a complete overhaul of my mindset. I started small, focusing on what I could control and setting achievable goals. I began practicing digital minimalism, cutting out distractions to better understand my thoughts and desires. This was more than just a personal growth journey. It was about reclaiming my mental well-being and moving toward personal success. It wasn't just about quitting bad habits, it was about understanding why they existed in the first place. This is where self-knowledge became key. I needed to dig deep, asking myself the tough questions. What was I running from? What pain was I numbing? Understanding these answers led me down a path of essentialism, focusing on what truly mattered and letting go of everything else. This focus on growth was the spark that ignited my transformation, and it's something I carry with me every day. And so began the journey of becoming disciplined, healthier, and more proactive. A journey that's still very much ongoing. Addiction has a sneaky way of creeping up on you, doesn't it? What started as a casual puff at parties turned into a daily crutch. I used to think I had it under control, but soon enough, smoking wasn't just a habit, it was a part of my identity. I tried to justify it with excuses like, it helps me relax, or I'll quit when things settle down. But deep down, I knew these were just lies I told myself. My health took a nosedive, and every day felt like a struggle between wanting to quit and craving that next cigarette. It wasn't just the smoking, I dabbled in drugs too. What I thought would be an escape from stress ended up becoming a bigger source of it. I found myself in a downward spiral, feeling trapped in my own habits, and every failed attempt to quit made me feel like a failure. Depression and anxiety weren't just words, they were my reality. Felt like I was stuck in this never-ending loop, and my self-esteem plummeted. How could I possibly talk about personal success or growth when I couldn't even kick these habits? I remember one night, sitting alone with my thoughts, a cigarette in hand, and realizing I was tired of feeling tired. It was a moment of clarity where I saw my habits for what they were, chains holding me back from the person I wanted to be. This wasn't just about quitting, it was about breaking free. I knew that to improve my social skills and mental well-being, I needed to face my addiction head-on. I needed a game plan that went beyond willpower, a strategy that included understanding my triggers and replacing them with healthier habits. But change didn't happen overnight. It was a battle, and there were days when I slipped up, but I didn't let that define my journey. Instead, I saw each mistake as a lesson, an opportunity to understand myself better. I learned about dopamine fasting and how our brains crave quick hits of pleasure. which only made my resolve stronger. I wanted to retrain my brain to find joy in the right things, not in temporary fixes. And this mindset shift was crucial for the next steps, building new, healthier habits that aligned with the life I wanted to lead. After a harsh wake-up call from a friend who didn't mince words about my lifestyle, I knew it was time for a change. Their blunt honesty hit me harder than I expected. But maybe that's exactly what I needed. It wasn't just about quitting smoking. I needed to rebuild from the ground up. So I started small, really small. I'm talking about the basics, like making my bed every morning. It sounds trivial, but there's something powerful about starting your day with a win, no matter how tiny. Next came introducing new, healthier habits. I began taking short walks every day, just to clear my head and get my body moving. It was a slow process, but I found these small steps helped me build momentum. Walking wasn't just about exercise. It became a form of meditation, digital detox from the constant noise. I began to understand the importance of stoicism, focusing on what I could control and letting go of the rest. This mindset was essential in combating anxiety and depression, helping me stay grounded even when cravings hit. Key was consistency, not perfection. There were days when the urge to light up or slip back into old habits was overwhelming. But every time I chose to stick with my new routine, it became easier. I realized that discipline wasn't about being perfect. It was about showing up, especially on the tough days. Reading up on the philosophy of essentialism also helped, focusing my energy on fewer things that truly mattered rather than spreading myself too thin. This shift in perspective made all the difference. Building these new habits wasn't just about adding more to my plate. It was about replacing what didn't serve me. Instead of reaching for a cigarette, I started my day with a cold shower to wake up my senses. Instead of zoning out in front of a screen, I picked up books that challenged my mind, like the works of Marco Aurelio. Little by little, these choices added up, creating a foundation for a healthier, more disciplined life. And with each new habit, I felt a step closer to my personal success. But as I would soon learn, the journey of self-development was just beginning. Discipline wasn't something that came naturally to me. It was a skill I had to build one step at a time. Replacing those unhealthy dopamine sources like cigarettes was the first step. I started turning to exercise instead. At first, it was just a few push-ups or a jog around the block, but even that felt like a monumental effort. I quickly realized that discipline is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. And each small victory made me feel more in control of my life and my choices. Cold showers became another tool in my arsenal for building discipline. Every morning, I would brace myself for that shock of cold, using it as a way to mentally prepare for the challenges of the day. It wasn't just about the physical benefits. It was about proving to myself that I could handle discomfort. This was all part of a larger strategy to cultivate a stoic mindset, facing discomfort head-on rather than avoiding it. It wasn't easy, but I noticed that as my resilience grew, so did my confidence. I also started applying the principles of digital minimalism, reducing distractions and focusing on what truly mattered. This wasn't just about turning off notifications. It was about reclaiming my time and energy. I began to see how much of my day was wasted on things that didn't contribute to my personal growth. By being more intentional with my time, I found I could be more proactive in pursuing my goal. This shift wasn't just about being more productive. It was about aligning my actions with my values. Developing discipline was about understanding my triggers and finding healthier outlets for my energy. Instead of reaching for a cigarette or diving into social media, I focused on self-improvement through reading, meditation, and mindfulness practice. Books on Stoicism, like those by Marcus Aurelius, became my guides. They taught me the importance of inner strength and mental well-being. And while I was making progress, I knew I still had a long way to go. Each day was a new challenge, but with every step forward, I felt a little stronger, a little more in control. And this newfound discipline set the stage for my next big goal, setting and achieving milestones that would push me even further. Once I began building discipline, I realized it wasn't enough to just avoid bad habits. I needed to aim for something greater. Setting goals became my way of channeling all that newfound energy. I started small, aiming to run a 5K without stopping. It seemed daunting at first, but every day I inched closer, pushing my limits. Running wasn't just about fitness. It was about proving to myself that I could achieve what I set my mind to. With every mile, I felt more in control of my destiny, more focused on growth. After conquering the 5K, I set my sights even higher. I took up cooking classes, something I never thought I'd have the patience for. Cooking became a metaphor for my journey. Carefully selecting ingredients, following a recipe, yet allowing room for creativity. It taught me the importance of process, of taking things one step at a time. This wasn't just about making meals. It was about developing self-knowledge and finding joy in learning new skills. Plus, it was a great way to socialize and improve my social skills, were crucial for my personal development. Volunteering was the next step in my journey. I wanted to give back, to be a better person by helping others. This wasn't just about ticking off another goal. It was about finding purpose and meaning beyond myself. Helping others brought a new kind of fulfillment, one that cigarettes and quick fixes could never provide. I started to see my anxiety and depression not as enemies, but as signals, guiding me towards what truly mattered. This realization fueled my desire to continue pushing my boundaries and setting even more ambitious goals. Each goal I set and achieved was a stepping stone, building my confidence and sense of purpose. But I knew that personal growth was an ongoing process. The more I achieved, the more I realized there was still so much to learn and do. It wasn't about the finish line, but about the journey itself. And just when I thought I had reached my peak, I found myself drawn to a new challenge, a local fitness competition that would test everything I'd learned about discipline, focus, and resilience. This was my chance to see how far I'd truly come, and I wasn't about to let it slip away. Signing up for that local fitness competition was a bold move for me, a chance to see if all the discipline and habits I'd built could hold up under pressure. The training was intense, both physically and mentally. I pushed myself harder than ever, tapping into the resilience I'd developed over the past months. Every early morning workout and every strict meal plan tested my commitment. It wasn't just about winning, it was about proving to myself that I could follow through, that I was capable of more than I ever imagined. On the day of the competition, I felt a mix of nerves and excitement. Standing among seasoned athletes, I was an underdog, but I wasn't there to compare myself to them. I was there to challenge myself. Each event pushed me to my limits, but instead of feeling overwhelmed, I felt alive. Every drop of sweat, every aching muscle was a testament to the transformation I'd undergone. It was as if all the lessons from stoicism, essentialism, and self-development had led me to this very moment. Competing wasn't just about physical strength, it was a mental game. I had to stay focused, manage my anxiety, and push through the moments of doubt. I thought back to all the philosophy books I'd read, like Nietzsche's ideas about overcoming adversity and Schopenhauer's teachings on the will. These weren't just abstract concepts. They were guiding principles that helped me stay grounded and keep pushing forward, even when my body wanted to quit. When the competition ended, I didn't win first place, but I didn't need to. I had already won by showing up and giving it my all. This was a significant milestone in my journey, a symbol of how far I'd come. But I knew this wasn't the end, just a new beginning. There were still so many areas of personal growth to explore, new goals to set, and more ways to be a better person. The journey of self-improvement and mental well-being is ongoing. I'm excited for whatever comes next. After all, personal development is about the continuous pursuit of becoming the best version of oneself. I'm just getting started.